Come follow the brick wall. It's your girl Eva K, and I'm ready to eat. Hey, who ready to eat with me? Who ready to eat? Come bread with me, let's break bread. Come break bread with me, let's break bread. We about to eat this food and get fed. Come break bread with me. I'm your girl, your host Eva K, and I am with
Coy Kindred
Miss Coy. This is amazing. And she got us Tammy's
fried fish.
Fried fish and green tomatoes on the east side. And today we are at yours, Spa and Sweet. How you doing today, Miss Coy?
I'm doing really well.
Well, I'm ready to eat. This food smell good. We're gonna say our grace. Now I don't know if you know, but I say a little kitty grace. Because that's the one I say. That's what I grew up on. So now we thank you for our food, Father God, we thank you. Father God, we thank you. Amen. Amen. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
You are so beautiful. Look at her.
Thank you.
Hair, skin, giving, everything. I'm just so happy to be in your presence. I think it's long overdue. I don't know how we haven't met outside in the world, but this is a first for forever. So tell me something about yourself, Miss Coy. Who is Coy?
Coy. Okay.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York.
Oh.
And
Big city girl.
But I am the countryest city girl you could possibly meet because I was raised by my grandparents, and my granddad's from Auburn, Alabama. My grandma's from Opelika, Alabama.
Opelika.
And if you can't hear it in my voice, I've been in the South since 2001.
Okay.
So I've spent the majority of my life in the South. And even when I was up north, I was raised in a Southern influenced home, if that makes sense.
Okay. So the fried catfish and all the things.
Yes, Southern girl.
So tell me about your childhood.
So, we just gonna dig right into it.
Yes, let's go.
They say like the most critical, there's always a pivotal moment in your childhood that shapes the whole trajectory of the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And my childhood was a complicated bag. So I was raised by my mother in Syracuse, New York, but she, I'm an 80s baby, so she struggled with a crack addiction.
Okay.
And so that left me for periods of time living in other homes. So when I say I was raised by my grandparents, it's because, long story short, after a long binge and me missing enough school, they came and got me like, now's the time. Now's the time we got to step in and take over. And so they came. It was very traumatic, but it was probably the best thing that could have happened for me. It definitely it shifted what the rest of my childhood would have looked like. And so it's like, sometimes you feel like, dang, why me? Like, why did it have to be like that? Why did it have to be so rough? But my mom's story is such a testimony to the strength and resilience that I have today. So it's like, okay, yes, there's a drug addiction, but also there was cancer that she was up against. So here's the story. When I was born, my mom she was tiny. And so she was having this pain in her hip, and she kept complaining. As black women, we definitely have to advocate for our own health.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she keeps saying, I feel the pain. And they're like, oh, it's because you're small. It's because you're petite. It'll go away after you have the baby. After she had me, she's like, something is wrong. I'm still feeling this pain. So she pushed. Finally, doctors, caved, and they were like, okay, let's just do a scan. Found out there was a complete hole in her bone. And so she ended up being diagnosed with multiple myeloma. It's a cancer that basically, it eats your bones. So if you were to see like an x-ray of my mom's skull, you would see like pinholes.
My aunt just passed from multiple myeloma.
Yeah, so you already know,
yes,
like she could reach for a cabinet and a bone could just break. Like it was just that much through her body over years. So imagine when I was born, they were like, you would be lucky to see your baby girl make it to kindergarten. Like that's pushing it. Mm-hmm. My mom prayed, despite all of the obstacles that she faced. She was like, I had this same prayer. I want to see my baby graduate and get accepted into college. And tell me why. I got accepted. I went to Georgia State, got accepted, and I graduated in May 2006. and my mom passed in July 2006. She was not supposed to be there. And so it was one of those things, like a lot of the source of my strength and what ties me to faith is deeply rooted in her. Like, she got the one thing she asked for. As messed up as other things were in her life, you know, things that she dealt with, she still, like, that was what was important to her. And so, yeah, so I'm trying not to get
emotional. That is, most people I talk to don't know what multiple myeloma is, and it is a vicious cancer. You know, they told my auntie when they found out she had it, she'd never ring the bell. You know, you would never ring the bell from this, but we can help you manage living through it. She was supposed to live 7 years. I think now the expectation is longer, the more research they have, but she lived 7 years.
Wow. From
the time she was diagnosed to the time she passed, early August of this year. So, you are strong, girl. Are you the only child?
No, my mom had 2. There's a total of us, there's 5 of us total between my dad's kids and my mom's kids.
Okay, so your childhood, and how many kiddos do you have? Because you're a mother.
I have 4.
4 kiddos.
I got a whole squad.
4 is a lot.
Yes, and they range from 15, so my oldest, 15, he just got his permit.
Go ahead, boy, he driving.
Say prayers. He's 15, my oldest daughter, 13, and then I have a 7-year-old, 5-year-old. So big brother, all little sisters.
Okay, 1 boy, 3 girls.
That's it.
So how is mommy hood for you?
It's heavy, but it's the most beautiful journey that I could have been blessed with. And it's such a up and down. Have you ever seen, there's like this video that shows like if life is flat for you, you don't go as far. They had 2 balls. So they had like one surface was flat and then one had ups and downs. The ball that went through the ups and downs had more momentum and moved farther. And that's like the journey that motherhood is. It's unpredictable, there's ups and downs, but like so much comes out of it, so much joy, so much momentum. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me either. I love being a mother. Like, I didn't know, I only been a mom for 9 years, and I'm like, well, what was I doing before I became a mother? You know, because that, it's a blessing, and it's a journey. Trying to navigate school and all these school shootings and threats and constant anxiety and worrying. So, yes, we're going to get on motherhood, but let's talk about your career.
Okay.
So, who is Coy as far as entrepreneur, career?
So what am I doing in life?
What are you doing? Who are you?
Okay, so I have a day job. I work at a nonprofit called the Highlander Research and Education Center in New Market. I'm on the finance team and I'm the grant administrator of the We Shall Overcome Fund there. So that's my day job.
Okay, and that's here? You said
it's in New Market, Tennessee. It's a little drive. It's just past east. Just keep going east, past Straw Plains, Kodak, New Market. Like you're going towards Newport.
And I live in Strawberry Plains, so
okay.
Mascot, all of that out there. Okay.
It's just on a big old 82-acre. There's chickens and it was like my dream job. I started working there in 2015. So I'm about to be coming up on my 10th year with Highlander.
We Shall Overcome Fund. So tell me more about that. I work for a nonprofit. I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know you had a day job too.
I do a lot.
I know, yes ma'am. I love this. Talk to me.
So it's interesting how I even got connected to Highlander because Highlander is basically a movement school. It's like a catalyst for social justice organizations. So grassroots, any of the isms, racism, environmentalism, all of the things that need attention, you can get training, you can go there for a retreat and respite. It's a lot of work. And it has a very long history. Just had homecoming recently, and they connected with the Beck Center and did some workshops there because even though it's just down the street, it's been very disconnected from Knoxville. And so that was kind of rebuilding that connection here because people are this close and don't know, like, oh, I can just go up the hill and spend some time, trying to focus and figure out, what I can do, how can, I make some impact. But how I ended up connected with Highlander, because I had lived in Knoxville. I moved here in 2009. But I didn't even know what Highlander was until 2015 or 2014. So for the Weekend of Resistance, when Mike Ferguson when all that happened, I went down I went to Ferguson. There was a group of people, I don't know if you remember the hip hop forum that used to be here in Knoxville at the Birdhouse.
At the Birdhouse. I love the Birdhouse.
Yeah, so at the end of one of the forums, they were like, hey, anybody who wants to make a difference, you want to jump in on this thing, and we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be involved in this. If you want to ride down with us to Ferguson, like, come put your name in the hat, and we'll get you there. And so I ended up being like, I want to go. I know I'm supposed to be doing more than what I'm doing. I was working at the bank. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be doing more. So I went down there, and that's where I met all these people who were in movement and different organizations. And I'm like, how did I not know? How did I not know? And so within like 6 months after that, they opened a job posting for like an administrative assistant. And I was just like, I don't care what it is. I'm going to apply.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so I've moved around, like since being there, the organization has gone through different changes and everything, but ultimately I landed on the finance team, which my degree, I have a business finance degree. So I always knew that entrepreneurship was somewhere in the mix for me. I'm good with numbers, I'm analytical, and I'm creative at the same time. So I knew there was gonna be like problem solving in whatever I did, creative thinking and problem solving. So We Shall Overcome Fund, which is a small part of my main job, is paying some bills and paying some people. But it basically gives funds to Black artists, educators, historians, makers. Their mission has to be tied to advancing, improving Black community. Like, it's a requirement of the fund. And it's small. It's I think one of the biggest things about it that was really exciting and appealing to me was that, I don't know if have you done any type of grant writing yet, or
I watched Mr. Tyrone at my job.
Okay. So there's a lot of red tape. There's so much that you have to put into just getting an application that a lot of our people don't even feel like it's too daunting of a task to be able to get to the funds, where it's like, I can't qualify, or I can't fill this out, I don't have the right credentials, or I don't have the right paperwork, I don't know what to do, and I can't afford to hire somebody to do it, it's too expensive. And so the fund, it also grants to individuals who are trying to do something. So you have something in your community and you're trying to do it, it's as small as $2,000.
That's a lot when you...
Yes, but it just serves the Southeast. So it's limited, like it has to be in the South, and it's gotta be Black. It's got to be Black focused. The applicant doesn't have to be Black, but it needs to, in that mission, whatever it is that it's doing, needs to be in service to the Black community. So we can talk more offline if you want to.
Girl, my mouth is on the floor. Like, what?
Yes.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yes, and for the last couple cycles, it's been on pause because the organization has gone through a transition. So excited to see, and I'll stay tuned on my page as soon as I know updates of when it's going to be ready to be revamped, because we need more people on the committee to actually take in applications, be able to grant money out, but it's not done. So
I would love off camera to talk about that, because I would love to, whatever I can do.
Yes.
I would love it. That is very mission aligned with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so outside of Miss Finances.
So that's one of my, I wear so many hats, so many. Okay, so that's one thing. I retired from, I was doing web design. I think
that's how I came across you.
Yes.
Next level.
So here's the thing about that. I enjoyed that step into entrepreneurship, where I was doing web design for people. I was helping them come up with their branding. It was wonderful. It was too much for the stage in life that I was at. And it was so hard, because it was like, Coy, you are making such an impact. You are helping people who because I was doing some work pro bono, let me just help you. You just need help. And I know it'll come back to me in some other form, but for right now, let's just get you set up. You just need somewhere to let people find you. And I enjoyed it so much, but it got to the point, once I created a partnership with Jasmine Newton, so Javon Renee Portraits, we came together and created something called the Lux Branding Suite. And it blew up so fast, we were just like, this was supposed to be like a summer. We were just gonna like, while the kids were out for the summer, I'm like, yeah, we could tag team and do some stuff. We had no idea how much interest there really was gonna be. It was kind of just testing, working together, because I had not worked with a photographer and she had not worked with a web designer to come together and give somebody's full branding. And so it was great. Some wonderful projects came out of that, but I was finding myself working myself into the ground to the point that I was no good to my family. And when I say no good, I mean, there were times where I think the most I went was 60 something hours with no sleep. I was just living off of caffeine and dreams and maybe some prayers, because I was like, I still have a day job. I still have 4 children that I have to take care of, and if I tell somebody I'm gonna deliver something, I'm gonna deliver it. So I can't go to sleep. It's the only time that I can actually, and so I was killing myself, and my friends kind of had like a come to Jesus moment with me, like, girl, this ain't it. This is not it. You are tired. And I'm like, I can do it though, because I can make up the time on the weekend. Sunday after church, I can sleep in or something, and they're like, no.
Stretch way too thin.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay. So I told her, like, I love you. I love working with you. I love what we're doing. I cannot. If I can't function well and deliver the level of excellence and quality that I want to give, especially to our community, and be an example of what it looks like to put Black excellence out as brands, as companies that we're starting, like to push that in Knoxville is a big deal. I don't take it as something light. And I'm like, if I can't do that on the level that I want to do it, I'd rather not do it at all. I'm not a half doing anything type of person. I'm all like, we gonna be doing it. Yes. And so I was just like, if I can't deliver the service the way that I need to, then I need to like reevaluate, how do I do this? So I took a step back from that, and in the time away from it, it's been interesting. It's been actually really beautiful, because I was finding myself coming back to myself, getting back to the arts, getting back to poetry, which is really what my focus has been lately, has been like deep diving into my artistry. And so this summer I was able to do the most transformational poetry showcase that I've ever been a part of with the Fifth Woman. And so we did a show called Tribe. So it was me and my closest female friends, Anisha, Shakita, Liz Mitchell, the 4 of us, which everyone's a performer, so all did poems, 2 are dancers, 1 sang, like everything was put on display. We just really poured ourselves into that show. But what was so special about the show was that it was a reflection of sisterhood and what we went through as friends. Because a lot of people see, like, I think my cover image is a picture of me and my best friends. However, what people don't know is that we were only local in Knoxville with each other for 1 year. We've been friends for over a decade now, but everybody moved away. So Shakita moves to North Carolina, Liz moves to South Carolina, Anita's in Chattanooga. None of us are in the same place, but that became like the lifelong friendship that has allowed me to make it through businesses, through working full time and having 4 kids, through relationships, through like healing, through being able to reach a stage of now marriage and recreating this life that I have been dreaming of, that I have been praying for. And without them, like,
that was your backbone. The girl that held you up.
But it's not easy. Like, keep maintaining friendships at different stages. Like, this person's having a child, this person's single, this person's, doing this in their career, and we're balancing all of these things. And so there's ebbs and flows, just like with any relationship. And so in that show, we literally break down like that journey through friendship, the beautiful parts, the ugly parts, and like where we are now, which is solid. And so it was really beautiful. I'm really grateful to Raya Carmen,
I love me some Raya,
put the show together. We orchestrated all of it like through Marco Polo, long distance. We only had like 2 days to rehearse in person, something like that. And it came together so beautifully. And I was just like, whew, the way it felt to be on stage and with them and back in my art bag. I was like, okay, I have been neglecting this whole piece of me all this time. And so now I'm excited. I have a show coming up on the 29th of this month.
Where at?
So it's going to be at Barrel House by Gypsy Circus, North Knoxville. It's an open mic night put together by Coy Kindred and Drew Drake.
Kendra, honey, listen, the Askews now.
Yes.
Them are my people.
Yes, so she collaborated with Drew Drake, who is a phenomenal, he's a poet, a DJ, every type of performer, theater. He's in our town that's showing right now. And so they collabed and put together an open mic night. I'm going to be the first featured poet this month. So I'm really excited to share some poetry there, share some of my journeys through art, and I'm hoping we get a lot of people to show up and, other people, not be afraid to get up there and just share their story through whatever art form is theirs, whether they're musicians, singers, songwriters, comedians, whoever just wants to get up there and say something. Like the mic is open, and I think that's going to be a beautiful experience for people to share and just like vibe, because he's gonna be DJing, so it's gonna be music, like it's gonna be a whole situation.
I'm gonna have to come. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Listen, clear my schedule off. Is it a cover charge or anything?
Yeah, so $15 tickets,
Okay.
and I promised that I was gonna give away a pair of tickets to 2 of your viewers. So
Yes.
we'll announce that sometime after here, how you want to do that, how you want, if they share the reel that gives all the details on the show, then we will pick 2 people and bless them with tickets to be able to come to the show.
I love that, and I would definitely be there. So we mentioned in all the beautiful stuff you do. So that you back in your art bag, right?
Back in my art bag.
You retired from web design.
Yes, I'm still helping people because I don't know how to say no. I'm working on boundaries. But yes, officially retired, yes. Not taking new clients.
I want to talk about something you mentioned, which is friendship, right?
Yes.
In my 30s, I'm trying to figure it out, right? Because when you have a friend, dang, you ain't going to answer my call, da-da-da-da. But when you have kids, husband, work, we don't have to talk all the time. But it's like, how do you say that? Or is it a conversation that you have with your friend? Or do you kind of just like not pick up the phone? I'm trying to figure that out.
So, one funny thing, I hope I think they'll be fine with me sharing this. I'm going to be real vague. But we have a friend who admittedly, and through her poetry, she shares this, that sometimes she just needs to detach and be alone. So, sometimes when you're going through something, you just need to like bury your head in the sand, get through it, and then you can come back when you're ready. But it was leaving some of us feeling abandoned, like, where you at? What's happening? You ain't checking in, you ain't popping in, you just kind of went silent. And so we came up with a small system, and it's been working. She just sends a turtle shell emoji, and this means I'm okay, but I'm not in a space right now. Like, I need to go into my shell, I need to be alone, but I love you, I see you, I know that you care, and I'm letting you know I'm good. And we give her space until she's ready, but it keeps us all connected where it's like, okay, we know she's good. I'm not gonna blow up her phone. Like, where you at? We sending out the dogs looking for you because you ain't answering the phone. What's up? Especially because we're all long distance. So it's not like I can just drive by and, see, okay, the light's on. She all right. I can't. Right, I can't do that. Not that I would just drive by anybody's house. But like, we can't. We're all so far. And so it's been beautiful. Like, we've had to learn over time how to maintain the friendship. And we all have different communication styles. We all have different love languages. All the things that apply to romantic relationships, that apply to working relationships, all those things apply to sisterhood and friendship.
So how are you navigating like your friendship with your marriage? Like, because newlyweds,
Yes.
Congratulations, we're going to get into
you.
that too.
First of all, they love my husband. Sometimes more than they love me, I be feeling like, dang, y'all, like, they love him to death. It's been beautiful. I think it helps. We are in similar stages in that everyone has found their person. So I definitely think there's a piece of growth where we felt the strain when people are still finding themselves and they're figuring out who they are and where they want to be and who they want to be. They can't connect with the right partner. And once you find the right partner, if you choose to have a partner, because some people, they want a Paul, and they ain't not gonna ever have a partner, and that's okay too. But if it is a desire for companionship, you really have to be your best self first before you're gonna draw that in. And I think us all having the same desire for companionship, for family, helps us support each other in navigating romantic relationships. So,
I like that.
yeah, so one of my friends, I think they have, I don't want to lie and say how long they've been married, but it's more than half a decade for sure. I think we're somewhere in the 7 to 10 range. I have another friend, they've been together for about 15 years. So we've got the range from, we got old heads and then we've got, newer heads too. And so I think it's really about your values being aligned. Like, there's not anything that should shift in your friendship if your partner and you are in alignment and you and your friends are in alignment. There shouldn't ever be any kind of rub. If there's a rub, then you need to be reevaluating. Is it me? Is it the partner? Or is it the friends?
What
because
is
there's
it?
no reason that this should be,
Yeah.
if there's some kind of rub there, something's not in alignment. So,
Okay.
and I think you always start with yourself first. See, like, am I where I'm supposed to be? So yeah, so it's been beautiful. They've been very supportive.
I love that. So how long have you been married?
Since July.
2024.
Brand new, yes.
I
Since
love that
July.
for you.
Yes, we met skating, and it's been beautiful. It's funny because they say like you'll never find the man of your dreams, but I found the man of my prayers, or he found me.
You check out the boxes.
And I don't even know if I had boxes. I see people have all these checklists of their values and all that, but I'm like, if you're true to yourself, then I think everything else kind of just falls into place. I don't have to write out a list. I don't have to have a specific prayer for this man to be this way. I just have to be where I'm supposed to be, and I have to be in a place to receive that. Because it takes a whole lot of healing and a whole lot of being honest with yourself about what you want and what you need before you can ever welcome what you're supposed to have. And it took me a long time to learn that lesson.
Because everybody wants the Sierra prayer to get a Russell.
I'm not gonna knock it.
Okay,
if it's working
okay.
for you, do that. But to be so narrow, sometimes we don't know what it is that we need. I would not have known what I need. Like, it had to be given to me. And it was like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be loved. Oh, this is...
We don't know what we don't know.
You don't. You think you know what you want, and then it was just like, God was kind of like, now that you finally got out your own way and cleared the space, here you go. And who you're connected to, who your life partner is, impacts so much of the rest of what you do with your life. Like, it's not a small choice at all. It's nothing to play with.
And how amazing you met him doing what you love, which is showing your full self, skating, being that creative, and that is awesome. So let me ask you this. How has it been being married, newlyweds, and having a blended family?
Now that's a challenge.
Okay.
So he came in with no children. And I have my 4. And so there were lots of conversations first because at first I was like, I can't even date. Like, I can't even date anybody. We can be friends. Like, we can't be anything else. Because I never wanted to be a person who was bringing a bunch of men around my children. And so I'm like, well, first I didn't even know he saw me that way. It actually did start as a genuine friendship, with nothing about interest. And then over time, eventually, when the opportunity arises, then he let me know. But because he was actually a true friend, he had been exposed to my children and had gotten to spend some time, skating and doing different things with them. And he was very adamant about, we're not going to force anything between me and these children. If they choose to love me, if they choose to accept me, it will happen organically. It won't be something that we concoct or try to make, put things together and put them in a spot. Like, no. He built his own relationship with each child. So like with my oldest son, he takes him driving, they work out together. That's on their own. It's not anything that I put together. Everything and so he just lets them be. And when they invite him, he's there. And when it seems like they need space, and I'm very blessed that, my 2 youngest have an amazing father who is He's still here in Knoxville, and he's active. He sees them on a regular basis. So there was no, and he made it clear, like, I respect any man who is showing up for his children, never trying to take his place. They will not call me daddy because they have one, but I will give them the freedom to love me how they choose to. And it's been really beautiful because they haven't been forced into, like, I have seen stories and like people who are forced to, like, this is your step, whatever, and you're gonna respect them and you're gonna love them and you need to spend time. It's like, you can't force someone. It's fake, you know. I'm not gonna force anything. And so it's been really beautiful watching kind of like their relationships all unfold on their own without me having to do anything to make it happen.
Everybody just high vibrational. I love that. Listen, high value. I mean, you could just tell your aura, the way you are. I can see how people are drawn to you. Like, you are a literal light.
Oh, thank you.
Like, for real, and it's genuine. My sister Paulette talk about you all the time. But it's literally genuine. And I love that for your children. I love that for your spouse. And I love how you said, I'm not going to force it. Because I have been in situations where it's forced. Like, oh, this is my boyfriend, you will call him daddy. You know, like, I love that. And I love that he takes time with each child. He loved you, so he loved your children. That's amazing. Oh, goodness. You got me in my feelings now. So did he propose? Like, how did he propose?
Yes, so he actually conspired with my best friends to have it he proposed in North Carolina at my girlfriend's house. And so I thought I was going for Friendsgiving, and they had a whole setup. And it was so funny because they were like, you are the hardest person to surprise. We gotta like think way ahead, because I was asking questions. Why are we going in here? This doesn't make sense. Like, this is not efficient. We should, like, you know, I have a certain type of mind. So when they're like trying to stall or something, I'm like, okay, I can read this. What's going on? Y'all, somebody not telling me something. They were trying so hard, like, please don't let her ruin her own surprise. Like, please. But it was beautiful. We were able to do it in her home, and all of my friends couldn't be there, but the four of us were all together there for that, and it was beautiful.
I love that. I love that for you, Coy.
Thank you.
We coming up on our time, so that's just me. We're going to need a part two, because it's so many layers, so many beautiful layers to you, and just, like I said, your energy in your life. Is there anything that you want to share before we get out of here?
No, I just wanted to say that I'm really glad we were able to sit down and have a conversation, and I hope we stay connected after this. Like, the show is one thing, but when I meet people who have that light that you have and have the aura that you have, I really want to be around it. So
Me too.
no, I think this was absolutely beautiful. People can find me at my website. It's coykindred.com. I'm on socials as Coy Kindred. And I don't bite. I love to connect, and I'm available to collaborate for any creative projects, for any type of workshop when it comes to writing, poetry, healing. Just really excited to partner with people in the community and see how I can be used.
I love that. And your emotional intelligence, let me tell you something. It's one thing, I could tell you smart, you know, but your emotional intelligence, it's just, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
You are beautiful.
You got me all fuzzy.
No, for real, because I'm just like, I want to keep going. But we got things to do on this show today.
And I'm about to get down.
What you said?
Look, I was trying to be real polite.
Well, all right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching today. Thank you, Miss Coy. We will have a part two. Y'all have a